Hi there, this is Krystal, and today I have another 12 by 12 layout for Hip Kit Club using the March kits. So here is where I'm at so far. I've done a little bit of playing already. I have my photo. This is a, I think it's a 5 by 7 photo. I've had it in my stash for a very long time. It's from, I think, maybe 2015. I will have to double check the date on it, but I had it printed at Persnickety Prints back before I had a good photo printer at home, and it's just been sitting there unused, and I feel like I really need to get it scrapped. So I'm starting with that. I have a couple cut files. I've used the Such a Good Day title cut file, and then I've done a offset of that on the navy blue paper. It's called, it's something like Typhoon. Yes, Typhoon. That's from the cardstock pack. So I've done an offset of that to have a layer behind my photo. I've also cut the camera from this month's cut files just in white, and I'm thinking of backing that with vellum, so I have a sheet of vellum here. My plan is to cut out these little postcard style cut aparts from this sheet and kind of layer them behind my photo, and I'm thinking of maybe using this as my background. I'm not sure. I don't often use anything other than a white cardstock for my background, so we'll see how that goes. This is where I'm starting. I'm going to start gluing the cut files together and cutting this out, and I'm just going to put you on fast forward and play. So like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is just glue these two parts of my title together. So I'm using a fine line bottle. This is a bottle that comes empty, and then you fill it with whatever glue you want to fill it with. I have mine filled with Scotch tacky adhesive, and it works really well for all of these really small pieces of these cut files to get a good stick to the background. And like I said, I just used the offset feature in Silhouette Studio to create that outline in blue around the title. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the camera cut file, and this has a lot more little tiny lines in it, so this fine line bottle comes in really handy to make sure that this is well adhered to the vellum background that I'm going to add it to. So I also kept that little offcut from the center of the camera so that I could make sure that I got this center piece in the exact right position. So I'm just setting that down, and then I'm going to add glue to the piece that I want to keep, and I'm just using that as a guide so then I can get it in exactly the right spot. And then that just peels off, and there it is. And I'm just using some punches to weight it down just a little bit to make sure that all of those little pieces adhere to the vellum background and nothing comes popping up later. So now I'm going to trim all these little photos, little postcard style bits out of this page. I don't end up using all of them, but I wasn't sure which ones I wanted to use, so I just went ahead and trimmed them all out, and then I trimmed out the camera as well. I did have to get out my detail scissors to get that done. And now I'm just going to play around with these layers and see what it's going to look like, and what I like, and what I might want to change, which actually ends up being a lot. But for now, this is what I'm starting to play with. And so I like the idea of, because there's no people in this photo that I'm using, it's just a landscape photo of it's actually in Michigan, at Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. That's where this was taken, and it kind of looks like a postcard to me, so I thought adding all of these black and white postcard style images behind it would kind of add to that feel of this being just like a postcard like photo. So that background was looking super busy. I tried a solid cardstock background, but I wasn't a big fan of that either. And then I tried this other sheet from Sunny Days, but it just still looked too busy to me. So I end up pulling out a white cardstock instead, and that's what I'm going to end up using. I tried, but I just couldn't make it work. It just looked way too busy to my eyes. So going with the white cardstock. So I really like this so far. It's looking a little bit plain, so that's when I get the idea to bring this other pattern paper back and use it as a border around the outside. And I really like this because it brings in those same gray tones that are in those the kind of cut apart photo paper that I used around my photo. It has the same gray tone in it, and which kind of contrasts nicely with the stark white background, but then this outside layer ties it all back in together. So it has the blue, it has that gray tone, it just works really well. So I trimmed a 1/2 inch off of the white cardstock just to give a 1/4 inch border around the entire edge of the spread, and then I'm going to gut this because it's just too gorgeous not to. And now I'm going to adhere the white to this border, and to do that I'm going to use some double-sided tape. Normally I would use my tape runner, but I'm running low on tape runner, and it's not the cheapest thing in the world, so I was trying to be frugal and use this double-sided tape that I've had in my stash for a long time. I regretted it almost immediately because the one thing I forgot about is that there's no forgiveness with this tape. Once it's stuck, it's really stuck. Unlike the tape runner where you can lift it up and move it around a bit. So yeah, I don't get it straight the first time. I have to peel it up a little bit, and luckily just the back side tore. And then I stick it down again, and it's still not perfectly straight, but I have to live with it because I don't have another sheet of this background paper, and I have to make this one work. So I just have to go with the fact that it's a little bit too close to the bottom as opposed to the top, but it's fine. It's a small detail. I can get over it. And then I make my next mistake. So this whole time I'm thinking I want to add a white border around the photo just to give some separation between it and the postcards behind it, but I don't. I just start adhering it without even thinking about it, and I didn't even remember until I get to the point where I'm starting to embellish, and of course then it's too late. So I again just go with it. I deal with my mistakes and keep going, but I think it would have looked so much better in the end if I had added a white border around the photo, but it's fine. It ends up, I'm still happy with how it turns out. It just, I think, could have been a little bit better. So not perfect here, definitely making lots of mistakes, but you just have to work with it because, you know, that's part of the artist process, right? Or I don't call myself an artist, but the whole creative process, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So again, using that same double-sided tape, trying to be frugal and adhering this down to the background. It does take some extra time. It is very finicky, which is why it sat in my stash for so long. But yeah, trying to use what I have. So there it is. There is the layout so far. I'm adding this camera to the bottom. I'm just going ahead and gluing it down with that same fine line bottle. I do make some marks just with a pencil so I can make sure I get that in the right place. I've already messed things up twice. I don't want to do it again. So just adding glue to the back side where the white lines are, where the white paper is, so that you can't see the glue once it's stuck down. And then adding that back to the page where I left those marks. So I don't adhere the title just yet. I am going to add some foam adhesive to the back of it so that it pops off the page just a little bit, but I want to start embellishing before I actually adhere it down. So I've added the foam adhesive now, and I'm thinking that I want to probably tuck some of the embellishments in around the title, so that's why I haven't completely stuck it down yet. So I had an idea in mind when I started that I wanted to use the bits from this chipboard sheet. This is from Maggie Holmes' Sunny Days. It was in the embellishment kit, I believe. And a lot of the pieces on here work really well with this this background paper because, of course, it's from the same collection. So I'm thinking I want to use that Polaroid style photo and maybe that other black and white photo. And looking at it now, I actually really like the way that Polaroid looks right there, but at the time it just seemed way too big for the page. So I don't have anything adhered down. I'm just peeling off the adhesive that's on the back of these chipboard pieces so that I can move them around on the page without them actually sticking. And I'm just kind of playing around. And then I end up playing around for a very long time. I dig out all of the embellishments in all of the kits from this month, and I struggle a bit trying to get a look that I really like. I think part of the reason that I had so much trouble was that this title ended up being a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. So when I made it in Silhouette Studio, I did size it to a 12 by 12 page and move it around along with the camera die cut to see where I would want it. And I did just create a block the size of my photo. But what I didn't take into account was the fact that I was going to add that offset border around it. So it ended up being just a tad bit bigger than my original plan, and that was enough of a difference to make it just feel a little bit too big for the page. And then I had a lot of trouble fitting other things in around it. So I eventually make it work. I actually end up really liking the way that it works in the end, but I struggled because the embellishments that I thought I was going to use no longer really fit beside that title. So here is attempt number 2 to try and get this page embellished. I'm going through the die cut ephemera pack that came with the main kit. This is a Hip Kit Club exclusive designed by Kim Watson, and they are absolutely gorgeous and they work so well with the other pieces in this kit. So I've pulled out a few that I think I might want to use, and I've set those to the side. I've put a couple on the page. Nothing is adhered yet. I just want to play around a little bit. So next I grab the Heidi Swap ephemera pack that was in the Project Life kit, I believe, and I'm just looking for things that I think might work and kind of plopping them down and not adhering anything, just really just playing. So I've added a few things. I want to bring in another color, and right now I'm thinking that pink is the other color I'll bring in just because there are so many gorgeous pink elements in these kits, and because I've added that little die cut on the right side there that says something, it was beautiful, I think, and it has some pink in it. So that's what I think I'm going to go with. I end up, of course, changing my mind again. My biggest problem with the way things are looking right now is that there are just too many words on the page. So I have my title, all those little photos from that cut apart sheet, they all have words on them, and then all of the embellishments I'm adding have words on them, and it's just way too busy, way too wordy for my taste. So I start pulling some of them off the page again, thinking about what else I can add. I really like this little pink puffy sticker that says vacation, and since I'm thinking right now that I'm going to go with that pink color as an accent, I think that should be the perfect thing to add, but I can't get it to fit on the page. It doesn't fit under the title without covering up too much of my photo. Again, on top of the title, it didn't really work for me either, so I'm struggling a lot to find things that will work around this title. So this is where things start to turn and where things start to make sense to me. So I grabbed that sticker from the exclusive sticker sheet. It says having fun with you, and it's in this kind of orangey corally pink color that matches the color in that die cut. So the die cut that says, I think it says it was beautiful, has that same orangey color in it, and that's when it kind of clicks, like this is a color I need to bring in, and it fit perfectly in the center of that that camera die cut, the camera cut file. So I added it there, and I really like that. I really like the way that that's looking. So I went through and tried to find some other bits and pieces that were in that same color, but again, most of them had words on them, so I've kind of just lightly stuck them down, but I don't end up keeping any of those, just because, again, it was too much, too many words. It was too much lettering on the page, and it was distracting. So then I think maybe I need to bring some of that blue color up to the top. of the page. So I grabbed a little label and I'm trying to make that work in that top left cluster. You can kind of see I'm working in 3 different clusters. There's the one on the top left, the top right, and then around my title and that camera cut file. So that's what I'm kind of basing everything on, but it's still not quite working for me. So I bring in some more orange. I find that orange puffy sticker, and it fits really well under the title next to that other sticker. So I think maybe I'll add in some oranges. Except that this photo was taken in Michigan, and there are certainly no oranges in Michigan, and that was just bothering me too much. I couldn't get over the fact that it just didn't fit with the story of this photo. I guess I'm just too much of a literal scrapbooker to be able to add oranges to a page about Michigan. But then I find that there are cherries on this same chipboard sheet, and I think perfect. Cherries, Michigan, it works. There's lots of cherries in Michigan. I drink lots of cherry flavored ciders when I'm in Michigan. It worked for me, so that's what I'm going to run with. So it's a pink accent, but it's a much lighter pink than what I was using before, and that distracts less from all the other things going on this page, and I think it just works. So then I go and find some other bits and pieces that are in that same lighter pink color. There was this little vellum frame from the Heidi Swap ephemera pack, and I cut it in half and tuck it around the photo on both sides, and then I find a watermelon chipboard from this sheet, and that's in that same kind of light pink color, and it works. And then this other one, I think it's meant to be a peach, maybe, I'm not really sure, but it's that light pink color and it works, so I go with it. And then I find some little die cuts and other little things from the sticker sheet that are also in that same color. I add some gold because, of course, you have to add a little bit of shimmer to the page. So there were a couple chipboard hearts that were gold with kind of a white and black border around them, and I add a couple of those to the page. And now I'm just playing around, seeing what else I can make work. There was a die cut, or a chipboard piece rather, that said sand and surf, I think, which is also on one of the little photos around my photo. So I add it to the right side of the title. And here is where I find these tiny little hearts on this sticker sheet from Sunny Days, and they are the perfect color, and they have this kind of iridescent shimmer to them that just adds a little bit of sparkle to the page, a little bit of shine, and I really like the accent that adds. So now I'm just going through all of the other bits and pieces. I end up tearing off most of the chipboard on that sand and surf because it was bothering me that the watermelon piece and the sand and surf piece were the same height, and I needed them to kind of nestle in and layer together, so I tore off most of the chipboard, and it's pretty much flat now, just like a sticker. So again, just adding more hearts, more little shimmery bits to the page. And this is pretty much what it's going to look like. So finally, I'm happy with the way it's going. I think that those lighter accents really complement the page and don't distract from the photo, which is what all of those brighter colored things were doing, and all of those words were just taking away from the photo and the title. I thought about adding a little bit behind the title just because it was looking a little bare at the bottom, but it was mostly hidden. You really couldn't see it at all, so I end up taking that back off the page and using it for a future layout. So now I'm happy with things as they are. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the title and start gluing all the rest of the little bits down. Of course, once I lift the title up, I have a hard time getting it back in the same place I had it, but eventually I find a spot that will work. And I have to take off some of those little foam bits behind the title as I add these chipboard pieces, just because it makes it not level. It's too much dimension, so I take off a couple of those little bits and just start adhering everything down. I had peeled off most of the backing behind these chipboard pieces, so I have to add some glue to make them stick, but some of them still had their original adhesive. And to adhere these little vellum frame bits, I started to use my liquid glue and then thought better of it and decided to just add a little bit of tape runner behind the photo where that vellum would actually sit. So I'm not adding any adhesive to the vellum itself, I'm just adding it to the photo, and then that's enough to hold it in place. I don't really have to add any more adhesive. Of course, any other adhesive I would add behind it would show. So I'm trying to make it so that you can't see the adhesive behind those see-through pieces. And now for journaling, I'm just adding the date and where the photo was taken. There's not really much more to say about this than that. So just writing Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore and the date. And I did it in my own handwriting instead of adding a date stamp, just because it looked more like a real postcard to me, you know, like when you just write on the back of a postcard. So that was my thinking behind that. And then a few gold shimmers. I nearly spilled it onto my page, but avoided that disaster. Here are some close-up photos. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't picked up these kits yet, I will link the kits in the description below, and you should definitely go check them out. And thanks for watching. I will see you all back here very soon.